What? When I first heard they were doing another Ted Bundy movie, my first thought was, okay, they just did one with Zac Efron. I don't need to see this. But then I found out who made it. The film is written and directed by Daniel Fahrens, the man behind the Sharon Tate is haunted by ghosts movie, and then the OJ is innocent and Nicole is stalked by the Green River Killer movie. What in God's name is he gonna do with a movie about Ted Bundy? He also made 2 phenomenal slasher film documentaries, and you can see that in his other films, which all bizarrely have slasher movie elements to them. This one? Oh yeah, hardcore. Like someone was sitting around going, what if the Ted Bundy story was more like a TV procedural crossed with Slumber Party Massacre? Nearly everyone in this is a slasher movie prototype. The opening scene is 2 girls pulling out a joint like, yeah, let's get out of here and smoke some weed. This movie is about Ted Bundy the same way Naked Massacre was about Richard Speck. Oh, with a little Animal House too, as Ted watches the Omega Chi girls through the window as they slow motion chase each other around the dorm, half naked and tossing around each other's panties. One of them has the line, we're not going dancing, so much for Chi till you die. Did I say Slumber Party Massacre? Oops, I meant Sorority House Massacre. Hey, you know what? Not even the first Sorority House Massacre. No. Sorority House Massacre 2. There is no insight to anything in this movie. None on Bundy, none on the victims, none on the cops. Chad Michael Murray is fine in it. He is charismatic and a little creepy in some scenes, but he's given nothing to work with. And spends most of the movie in a wig and fake mustache that makes it look like he's going as John Holmes for Halloween. This movie's idea of insight is him kissing and fondling mannequins as he jerks off onto porn magazines. And just when I was thinking, this is kind of like Bill Lustig's Maniac, it turns into Bill Lustig's Maniac. The mannequins and the girls from the magazines come to life, hold him down on his bed, and start beating him. Oh, don't worry, we got the standard bringing in the professional scene to psychoanalyze him to the audience as if it's copying the scene from Psycho. There's also odd narration like he's Patrick Bateman, which is weird because he was more so played like Bateman in the Michael Riley Burke one. Holland Roden plays Detective Kathleen McChesney, who's just written like a basic super serious TV cop that belongs more in a spin-off of Criminal Minds. She literally has the line, I'm gonna get him if it's the last thing I do. Everyone who surrounds her is a cartoon. It's a building of cops all going, what's with all the dead chicks? We need some good looks here to soften up the suspects. Oh, and also, wait, I won't talk about the ending yet, but I will. I'm gonna spoil the shit out of this movie later. Lynn Shay does a good job in a scene where she plays his mother, but even then it's filled with stock horror movie dialogue. She says, my dad told me he thought Ted was conceived in hell, which would make my father the devil. Why are they talking about him like he's Freddy Krueger? The movie's main intent is just to show death scenes. It's a sharp opposite of the Zac Efron one, which didn't show any deaths and was more about the characters. Someone saw that and was like, F that, let's do one with nothing but the killing! When Ted first gets caught, it jumps straight ahead to after he escaped from the courthouse. Gotta get back to the killing and that climax at the sorority we all knew it was leading to. It's so bizarre that there are so many of these movies that you can compare and rank the movies and actors like you're talking about James Bond or Batman movies. The best one, The Deliberate Stranger. The best casting, honestly, Corin Nemec and Bundy and American Icon. This one, the worst. By far, the worst. It's a completely pointless clickbait movie. Even if you're going into this as an exploitation film, which it is, it's not a memorable or good one. But it is so bad and ill-conceived that there's enough stuff to talk about. I don't know, D- for the fact that it's the 70s, yet people go outside to smoke instead of using the ashtray on the restaurant table. Okay, stay tuned after the break, because I gotta talk about the ending to this. All Daniel Fahrens movies need spoiler talks. All right. So pretty quickly into watching this movie, I kind of knew what the climax was going to be. I mean, most of this is a slasher movie, so I'm like, all right, the climax is going to be the massacre at the Omega Chi sorority house. And it is. That's about the last 20 minutes of the movie. We get all of these scenes of Ted Bundy just bludgeoning people, while also following around the cops who are investigating him. And the lead cop that Holland Roden plays then suddenly turns into Dr. Loomis crossed with Clarice Starling at the end of this film. She's walking down the street, she's in front of the sorority house, sees Ted Bundy's car parked in front of the place, like she's just spotted the car that Michael Myers stole, and instantly she knows there's some bad shit going on inside the house. So she whips out her gun, breaks the window open, goes inside, is seeing girls still alive walking through, eyeballs hanging out, I think, of one of them, just covered in blood, bludgeoned in the head, and everything. The couple that are still alive, are just aimlessly walking through the house like they're zombies. So the cop is making her way through the house, trying to find Ted. Ted is upstairs, about to kill another girl. She goes in there, again, to compare it to Halloween, like she's about to save Laurie Strode. She kicks the door open, starts firing the gun at Ted, but in true slasher movie fashion, Ted Bundy suddenly has teleportation powers. She shoots at him, he's instantly vanished, and then he just appears in another part of the room. She turns and starts firing at him again, and again he just vanishes and teleports somewhere. I'm watching it thinking, okay, is this going to end with him getting shot and killed? I mean, having seen the guy's other movies, I wouldn't have been surprised if it ended like that. But no, it doesn't end with him getting shot and killed by the cop. Instead, he seemingly teleported onto the front lawn where the cops are there. The cops, and there's an ambulance. You see him in the background parked and taking away bodies. But Ted is just standing on the lawn. No one notices him or sees him except for the landlord of the place, because Ted Bundy walks up to the landlord and starts checking her out, checks her out on the front lawn of this massacre where there's cops and no one sees that the killer's is standing right there. And then he turns and just walks away, walks across the lawn, and vanishes into the darkness, probably teleporting somewhere else. Oh, don't worry. Then it flashes up the title card. Oh yeah, he was later apprehended and he died in the electric chair. He got the death penalty. It was all taken care of. But then the movie still keeps going. It has all these texts like it should be over, but then there is one more scene where the cops go back to Lynn Shay's house in this pointless scene where they play Ted Bundy audio for her. Not like actual Ted Bundy, but movie Ted Bundy, because it was Chad Michael Murray's voice. They play this audio for her that just sounded like stuff he was also saying in the narration. And then they stop it, and Lynn Shay just goes, "Well, who wants ice cream and hot apple pie?" Credits. You know what? After this movie, sure, yeah, I want some ice cream and hot apple pie after I watched this Ted Bundy movie that was more like Halloween and Sorority House Massacre and Maniac. God. Well, that was a fun one to talk about. All right. Subscribe to us today, click the notification bell, and follow us on Twitter at The Cinema Snob. See you next time.